Hey, my name is Joe,
And I'm Mary Beth.
and this is the best of Gen X.
We are in our 40s.
And we're siblings,
We'll talk about adulting in a world so different from the one we grew up in,
so excuse us while we save a generation.
one episode at a time.
Let's go.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Mary Beth.
How's it going?
Not too shabby. How are you?
I'm really pumped about September.
Yeah, it is September 1st.
September 1st, Labor Day weekend.
I almost forgot.
Because you know what that means.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, I'm not a basic girl, or what I would call a basic bitch. I'm not about the pumpkin lattes and all that nonsense.
Yeah, you are. No, you're not.
But this, for me, is the kickoff to the fall decor season.
Yeah, it feels good, doesn't it?
I'm going to get out my fall decorations and my Halloween stuff. I'm going to have some pumpkins about.
Go on. I'm listening. Yeah, this is a cool time of the year. I love it. College football kind of started recently, and yesterday was the first game of our team's first game of the season. So I'm feeling like hoodie weather is coming.
It's coming, Joe.
I'm starting to notice the leaves are changing a little bit. Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
I'll be excited when the first leaf falls.
Like, don't you love it when it's like hoodie or sweatshirt weather, but you don't have to have like a coat?
Absolutely.
It's just right.
It
like, you know what I
is.
mean? You're not sweating, but you're not freezing. Oh,
And I
perfect.
look so forward to it that I get out my decorations usually Labor Day weekend. Like, even if it's 85, 90 degrees, I'm going to will that good weather to us.
And you do a good job of it. No, it feels good. I like this time of year.
I do too. It's also a special day for someone we know and love.
It is.
It is our Uncle Keith's birthday today,
Happy birthday, Uncle Keith.
turning 66, and I must say, he looks damn good.
Young bull.
Hey, I adore Uncle Keith,
He is the salt of the earth.
He
that,
is.
That guy.
and he's also one of the funniest people I've ever known.
He is. But I don't even think he tries to be funny.
Well,
Do you?
I do, because he makes witty jokes all the time, just real, like, you got to be quick. He's
gotta be
really,
quick.
really quick.
But he's really good about like the facial expressions.
Oh, yeah.
I've noticed. And then like he does that little giggle after
Oh,
he says
man.
something that's
Yeah.
funny. That's what gets me.
He when we were younger, he was even more animated about it, just always making us laugh, just cracking
Yeah,
me
he's
up.
the man.
He is the man, and we just want to give you some love, Uncle Keith.
Shouts. Uncle
Shouts.
Keith, happy birthday.
You know, Joe, when I was little, I wanted to marry Uncle Keith. You know why?
I can't even imagine.
Because I was a kid, and kids are stupid.
Kids are stupid.
How stupid? Well, let's see. I broke up with my first love because I didn't think he was ambitious or goal-oriented enough, and now he's doing quite well for himself. While I often have strong regrets about my educational and professional decisions. Serves me right. The love of my life turned out to be a blue-collar man who I admire and respect more than any man I've ever known aside from my father, and especially more than anyone from that long list of doofuses and dickheads I dated. And even so, it took my dumbass too many years, too much booze, and too much pain to find my way to him. But if there's anything positive about aging, it's the wisdom that comes from all the consequences of our own stupidity. So today, Joe, you and I are going to share some advice we'd give our younger selves. And we're going to have some fun to close the show out by bringing our Gen Z daughters, Navy and Mallory, on. We're going to see if we can translate some of their slanguage. Slang language, get it?
I feel like that's not going to go well.
I almost don't want to know.
Right.
I don't want to get them right.
Right.
You know?
And I'm a coach. I feel like I'm going to know a couple.
I've always wanted to be the kind of person who stays in touch, but more about style. Like when it comes to the language, I'm quite proud that I don't understand what the hell they're talking about.
Nowadays, socially, you're like, remove me from everything.
Yes. So we're gonna try to translate the things that we hear them say all the time that don't make any sense whatsoever,
Aish.
which I'm fairly certain will be, like our teen girls and our teen selves, very, very stupid indeed.
Ignorant. Okay.
So I thought we'd First, I thought we'd open up with a segment about responses that I got from a Gen X Facebook group that I'm a part of.
Are you withholding information from me?
I'm going to surprise you with some physics.
I thought we were a team. Okay.
Speaking of slang that's like outdated.
I know, right? How cool did I think I just sounded? Thanks, Snoop Dogg.
So, for shizzle. So I decided to post a question. Don't hide your laughter. If I say something funny, laugh.
But I know, but you just threw it in there like it was like last second, but you knew it was funny, and you didn't know I was going to catch it. I caught it.
Okay. All right. We could do this all day. All right. So there's a Gen X Facebook group that I'm in, and I posed the question the other day: what advice would you give your 20-year-old self? And at last check, I had over 1,400 responses.
Oh, I bet you got some good ones.
I tried to read every one of them. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to share some of the most common ones that I heard. Okay. So I think the one that I saw the most was just like invest. So like specifically Apple, Amazon, and real estate. Those were the three most mentioned. Like invest in Apple, like even though they weren't quite a thing when we were 20, it was like invest in Apple. There's going to be this bookstore called Amazon. Invest in it.
Oh my Lord.
Remember when Amazon was just books?
I do. Didn't Bezos do that like in his garage? I think something.
Well, I know Steve Jobs.
Why does shit always start in a garage? Mary Beth, let's go out in my garage and see if we can drum something up. Let's see if we can get creative. Hey, it was like Michael Scott, creative space or creative time or whatever it is.
Creative play.
Yeah, creative play.
And become gajillionaires.
Yeah, before we record our next episode, come like an hour early. Let's just get crazy and see what we come up with.
Play.
Yeah, just see what we come up with.
But have lots of sugar first.
That's right.
So yeah, I think if anybody, the second one is kind of related to this. It's save. So a lot of people were talking about saving for retirement sooner, finishing school, changing your major to be more useful, learn a trade. And I was surprised, I should have joined the military, I guess because they have, the benefits in the early retirement.
Oh, yeah.
And, or wish I'd joined the military a lot sooner than I did. So a lot of those were related, and I think if anybody did like a 5-minute Google search about Gen X, one of the characteristics of our generation is that we're not prepared for retirement. And
right.
I'm sorry to admit I'm one of those.
Well, I mean, you're certainly not alone. I mean, the stats are pretty staggering, and I think that's probably why it's a trending opinion or advice opinion to say, hey, look, we're living it now. We're at that stage where it's like, okay, it's go time. You're either gonna save or you're not. And
it's time. We got aches and pains going, oh God, I can't work my whole life.
Yeah, it's like
what am I gonna do?
When I first started working like in the corporate world, I was like 24-ish. And you're not like you think about retirement to a degree because you have to like put into your 401k or whatever.
But you're in your 20s, so you're
right.
stupid.
So you're stupid, and then you're like,
and you think 40's so far away.
Yeah, you're like, I can put a few extra bucks in my check now. I'm not worried about the 401k as much. I can make the percentage go down because hey, I got 40 years. Well, guess what, kids?
Yeah.
Now you're in your mid 40s, and you're like, shit.
Blink.
Yeah. Like I always say, time is a son of a bitch.
It is the son of a bitch. So, okay, another one that now I didn't have time to do all the stats, but this one seemed like the third most common.
Okay.
So many people don't get married.
Really?
Yes.
Why is that? I mean,
I don't know, because most people didn't elaborate, but I jotted down some that were kind of in the same grain. So I saw a lot of just flat out don't get marrieds. And then I saw, harsh. I know, she's not the one or he's not the one. Don't sleep with him. I got a kick out of that one. Don't break up with him. That made me kind of sad. Some funny responses like, get away from her. She's a crazy bitch. Never date anyone named Carl. That was another one.
Carl, that's a good one.
I really like that one.
I don't know if that's like a specific reference to something to be funny, but that's pretty good.
But there were a lot related to, marriage regret, But
That's sad.
I know it is. It made me sad.
Yeah.
But just as many, I mean, I saw just as many, don't marry the wrong person or don't marry that person.
Yeah, I got you. It's probably more
So,
of that than it is anything.
I
Like,
wonder,
not the institution of it. There's value in it. People, I think, see that. But
yeah, I'm hoping that that's what most of them meant, is that maybe they feel like they married the wrong person. A lot of marriage regret in the comments.
My thought on that is probably, I could be way off, but I feel like our generation, our parents were of, the baby boomer generation where it was like, it was normal to marry young.
Yes.
And so that's what we were used to or heard about. So I think our generation kind of did that a little bit more than like the newest generations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we were getting married at 20, 21, 22.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then you probably think about that kind of stuff, because you start early.
But
I think people are starting later is my point.
They're starting later and later and considering not doing it at all.
Right, exactly. Weird. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
But the funniest one in this category, which is kind of X-rated, but I had to share, it's too funny not to share. So we've got she's a crazy bitch, get away from her. She's not the one, he's not the one. Never dated anyone named Carl. And then cover your ears, children. Finish in her mouth until you're at least 30.
Oh, God. Jesus. God damn.
I know. I couldn't believe someone got on there. It was like so honest to say something like that.
You think?
So obviously,
that's not on my list, by the way.
Good. This gentleman must have had some kids a little earlier than he wanted.
Christ, damn.
I know.
Okay, I wasn't ready for that one, and I'm an adult, and I wasn't ready for that
one. Okay, so I had a lot of be true to yourself, stop worrying about what anyone else thinks, says, or does, and don't give up on your dream. Don't get manipulated to go a different direction. Mm-hmm. So a tinge of regret I saw in a lot of those posts, like just don't give up. Mm-hmm. I saw a lot of stop drinking. Like a lot of them wanted to tell their 20-year-old self to stop drinking or stop smoking. Stop partying so much. Some people use that actual, phrasing.
I understand.
One of them that kind of made me chuckle was, quit smoking so damn much pot. But more specifically, like, take good care of yourself. Yeah. And some of them were really sad. Some of them really touched on my heartstrings. Like, well, I'll get to those in a second. But as far as taking good care of yourself, I mean, I saw people say, take better care of your skin, exercise more, learn what eating healthy means. Mm-hmm. And so there was just a lot of health-related advice. Someone said, which I got a kick out of because I deal with it, you deal with it. Someone just said, careful with those knees.
Oh, gosh. Can I tell you about the knees?
Please.
Okay. So we talk about me playing golf with our dad and then uncle and cousin. And I usually play every Sunday if the weather's right? So I have a bad knee from 96, hurt it in high school, re-injured it when I was 22 playing pickup ball in college, and then never got it fixed. So I've literally been operating on basically no cartilage, just bone on bone for 20 years or whatever.
Why didn't you fix it?
Just because I was kind of like I was pretty much out of the house at that point, kind of starting my career, if you will, and kind of on my own and just didn't, you know how kids are. Mm-hmm. I was 22, 23, mm-hmm. whatever. And so I really wasn't relying, like my parents weren't, our parents weren't on me about, hey, go to the doctor, because I didn't live with them, I don't think, at the time. So anyway.
And plus, when you're young, you think things like that will heal
it'll just
themselves.
Fix itself. That's exactly what I told myself. So I was just being stupid and stubborn. And I think we even went to South Carolina the next week as a family. And I was so upset because I was like, how am I going to play golf if my knee's messed up? And I literally tried to play golf and I'm like hobbling on this knee and I just never got it fixed. Oh. So it's like 2 hours into a road trip, I have to stop. I have to get out. You know what I mean? Like I can't drive more than 2 hours. It's really painful. So point of all that is when I play golf, it's like I ride in a golf cart and I still limp for like 2 or 3 days after I play golf because I'm putting so much pressure on my knee. And it's like, even when I'm not walking a golf course, I can barely walk the next day.
Oh, man.
It's horrible.
Man, getting old.
It's horrible. It sucks so bad. Blech.
So that was good advice from some people. Careful with those knees. And then the funniest one about like relating to taking care of yourself. This dude said, his name was Christopher, and he said, don't do a backflip off your cousin's shoulders in a Wendy's parking lot on October 1st, 1999. It won't end well for you.
That's awesome.
No.
That is my favorite.
I know. I replied and I said, this made me LOL, but if it led to a lifelong, injury, I apologize. I don't want to sound insensitive, but this is really funny.
Yeah.
And I asked if he was okay or if he had to deal with, any residual effects, because Josh still struggles a lot with hip pain, especially just because of a fall at work when he was like in his early 20s.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think Josh is hip.
Josh is very hip.
He is hip.
So moving on from that, I saw a lot of people wanting to tell their younger self to slow down, sit still, pay attention, soak it up. A lot of those, because time just goes by way too fast. Several that I saw said, stay away from the internet.
Oh, geez, ain't that the truth?
Oh my gosh.
Life was just so different back then. I mean, you think about it, it just blows my mind how different life was without it.
I mean, can we be hypocrites for a second?
Sure.
I mean, we're doing a podcast.
I'm all in.
Without the internet, no podcast. But the internet sucks,
God,
man.
I hate the internet. Why?
Why? Why did we do it?
But you know what? There probably would have been some other cool creative outlet. We probably would have done like acting classes together or something, or like improv. We would have done improv.
We would have found our way on a stage.
That's right. That's right.
One that really spoke to me personally, I had told the woman, I feel this in my soul. She simply put, you're not fat.
That's a good one.
Man, because every girl feels fat when they're in high school, and you look back at like prom pictures and stuff,
so
you're
tiny.
like, oh my gosh, I'd give anything to have that body.
Right.
Why didn't I
Right.
Why didn't I feel better in my skin?
Yeah, even the ones that felt like they had extra pounds on them were itty bitty. You can
Right.
look back and you're like, oh, my Lord.
It's unreal. Okay, so I saw this one a lot, and it was perhaps the most Gen X answer you could give. You want to guess what it was? What would a true Gen Xer say to that question? What would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give?
Does it have to do with clothing, like fashion?
No.
What?
Why bother? I wouldn't have listened anyway.
Right. That's very true. That's very true.
So got a lot of those. And then I'll close with a couple of them that really touched my heart. One of them said, for the love of God, get meds and start therapy. And it was like, oh.
Gut punch.
It is, because you feel for that person and you relate to waiting way too long to get help that you need, because, the mind is part of the body, and it is, mental health is physical health. And
I think it's humbling for some people to realize they need that.
well, especially for people our age, people around our age, it wasn't taboo, yet, I don't know, it's hard. I think it was just starting to become more normalized. Mm-hmm. And so you kind of tiptoe into it, and there's shame, there's resistance, because it's like admitting that you're somehow defective, and how come everybody else can deal with things, better than I can? It's hard. So that one spoke to me. And then
I had an older buddy recently. He's about 10 years older, but I've known him for a long time, and he just flat out told me one time, he goes, and this was a while back, he was like, hey man, get therapy. I go, for what? Like, I kind of just looked at him, I was like, for what? And he goes, dude, everybody needs it.
Yeah.
He was just making it sound like it was just something everybody just needed to do. He goes, regardless of if really anything in your life is, if you're struggling, like, regardless of struggles or challenges, like, just get it.
It's so helpful.
It just threw me off. It kind of just.
I've actually been searching for one for quite a while, because I prefer the online, and COVID really changed that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
If COVID did anything good, I'd say curbside pickup and Zoom therapy.
Testify on that one.
Yeah, just because to have an objective third party who also has expertise in, strategies for mindfulness and anxiety and
Made me think. I mean, I never really thought about it until he said that.
Yeah. I mean, I've done it before. And it is incredibly helpful. Because life is tough, yo.
Yeah. I mean, I think normally you would take offense to somebody saying, like, you need it. It's like, I don't need that. What are you talking about? I don't need that. I don't need therapy.
Yeah. Only crazy people need therapy.
Yeah,
but everyone
But he's saying
could
everybody
benefit.
could benefit from it.
I wouldn't say everyone needs it. Everyone
That's
could
exactly
benefit.
what he was getting at. It's
Yeah.
like everybody could benefit from it.
And then this one from someone said, alcohol will stop working one day, and it's a hell of a situation.
God, man.
I know.
This is deep today.
I know. This one was a little more lighthearted, but still, it just was dripping with regret and remorse. But it said, get her number.
Like, shoot your shot. You should have shot your shot.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
get
thing.
her number. And I just thought, oh, man. Oh, man.
Because the competition might get it birthed.
Well,
Was it like that? Or
I'm not a guy. I can't imagine. You guys, it's kind of always been up to you to take initiative, right? You do the asking out, and not that girls don't ask guys out and all this kind of stuff, but would you agree that there's a lot of pressure on guys, especially when you're like adolescent or in your 20s and you're college age?
Oh, yeah. And you knew it back then. You're like, gosh.
I don't care how good looking or how accomplished you are. That's got to be scary. Rejection.
It is.
And how do you deal with rejection over and over? And you don't know what the reason is. And you're always, I would imagine, always being in your head, like just being, and with each rejection, getting more and more resistant.
I didn't get rejected a lot, so I can't relate.
Oh.
No, but I get what you're saying. It is pressure. It is pressure for guys, especially younger guys.
For someone to say, get her number, it just made me think of all those things, all those guys out there who are nice guys, good-looking guys, but just don't have that confidence or whatever it is that attracts young, stupid women. Because we are young and stupid.
Right. It makes you feel bad a little bit because there's clearly guys out there that are afraid to make that jump.
Yeah.
But they are without the female knowing any better, that could be the most perfect person for them.
I know.
But to your point, unless that guy makes that first step, it's never a possibility. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that to me, that's scary. And just in general for people, that's scary that two people couldn't find each other because one person didn't take that one extra initiative. You know?
Well, it just,
because you never know.
It just hit me to see that. Get her number. I thought it was sweet.
That is sweet.
And then finally, this one really touched me. It just said, come out. Come out.
Like, as in,
like
your sexuality come out?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, the first one just said, come out.
I didn't know if you meant like come outside. I was like, what are you talking about? Oh, you mean like coming out.
You know what that means.
Coming out. I got you.
The first one I saw just said, come out. And it just like a wave of empathy came over me because it was becoming much more accepted in our generation, for sure.
90s for
sure.
100%.
However, if you live in a certain part of the country or a certain kind of small town, there was a lot of fear of rejection, what people would say, your parents disowning you. I mean, there were real harsh consequences to coming out. And so it just made me think of how many people our age took so long to be who they are.
Right.
And so another one I saw said, come out, but he elaborated a lot more, like your friends and your family are going to love you no matter what. Don't wait so long to live authentically, which I thought was a really nice bit of advice for anybody, any younger listener. I mean, I think at this point, it's easy for us to say, but I think at this point it's not as big of a deal. Yeah,
I don't know if this is going to come off the wrong way, but at least in my experience, I would say 95% of the time, like if you're just a bystander or somebody that's like a friend or a mutual friend, like So it's like you look back now and you kind of feel bad. You feel bad that they didn't feel comfortable enough to just come out, because I've had a couple friends from high school that knew.
Yeah.
But I didn't find out until I was 38.
Right.
Officially.
Yeah.
Because they just finally felt comfortable to say that. And I'm like, I would have loved you the exact same.
Yeah.
Friend. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I mean, I get why it's tough.
Yeah,
But it really wasn't. You know what I mean? Like if it really wasn't tough, but they thought it was going to be tough. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? So
yeah, and we, of course, generalizations.
but
are always
society
gonna
never
come,
made them comfortable to understand that it's not okay
right.
to do that.
They
You know
were
what I mean?
just sure
Yeah.
that they'd get
Right.
ostracized.
And I don't think that's always the case.
I don't either. Well, at least now, I think we can say with some degree of confidence that there's not much at stake. There's not as much
No.
at stake. Let me say that correctly.
No.
So that made me feel good to hear someone talk about that. Okay, are you ready to talk about
I'm ready.
our own
I am ready.
nuggets of wisdom?
I'm ready to talk to myself, my young self.
Talk to your younger self. I have a prediction before we start these.
Okay.
I predict that mine are going to be much more internal than yours.
I guess it depends. I'm kind of looking at it. Kind of depends. Depends on what you.
But I think it's a gender thing.
Yeah, it would probably.
We shall see.
Okay, probably going to depend on what you would consider internal, or how deep internal means to you.
I just think like more emotionally introspective.
Probably.
Whereas yours are going to be like, don't ever use credit cards.
No. I probably don't get as specific as you're thinking, but I go into some stuff that's a couple things are internal, I think. So.
All right, you go first.
Okay, number 1, young Joe. Make choices confidently and not based on fear. Okay? So like many, and probably like you, I live with regrets because of things I wanted to do, but I didn't.
Yes.
And you were kind of getting to some of that with the group responses, but I'm personally mostly talking about career stuff or things that could have benefited me financially if I would have not been scared to take a risk. So for me, it was more of, you get presented with these things at a young age, and you're like, I don't know if it's going to work. It's just like there was just no confidence in the decision, and everything was fear based. And you make this decision that you think feels safe, and I don't know. That drives me crazy that I thought that way as a younger person. That drives me nuts because I'm, like you said, I mean, there's so many things that became big, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But you just didn't see it then.
Right.
People would talk about smart people, and I feel like I relied on some smart people for some things. But at the end of the day, you have to make your own decision, and I typically, as a younger Joe, would make decisions that were safe.
It reminds me...
And I have some regrets about that.
It reminds me of that part of The Office when Dwight is really having a hard time accepting Angela and Andy. And he goes to Phyllis for help. And he gives Angela an ultimatum. And he finally, long story short, he says to her, "Why him?" And Dwight is not a character who lets himself be vulnerable,
right.
And that emotionally vulnerable. And so it's a real tender moment. And she says, "Angela's not much of a risk taker, and Andy's not much of a risk." Makes me think of that.
Yeah. One of the biggest ones that I could possibly think of that I think about all the time is when I was 18, I wanted to be in the Air Force because our father was. Mm-hmm. And I was dead set, went to the recruiter's office. I feel like I was, let's say if there was 5 steps to do it, I was like on step 3 or 4. Mm-hmm. I was that close. But I started dating a young girl when I was 17, 18. And stupid me thought that was going to go somewhere. You know what I mean? And and it was. And I was only with her for like, you know how 17s are. You're dating her for like a month or 2. Like, well, I can't go to the Air Force. Not thinking of like, that's going to go away. Yes. And then what could your life be like if you would have done that?
Like we can't see past our nose.
Can't see past our nose. Seriously, like literally. So I really wanted to get into like a pilot training program like Dad. And I'd heard so many cool stories. I'd seen some movies, and I was ready to live that life because I felt like that's what my intention was. Like my life's intention was to do that. I always kind of felt that. And I didn't pull the trigger, and I regret it every day, almost every day. Now I've done well, but don't get me wrong. But
and
that's a life experience I feel like I missed out on because I didn't.
That's something I was going to talk about. It was hard to come up with these without thinking so much about regret. I just want to clear something up. I am one of those people who believes that everything happens for a reason. So having a regret about, I don't typically have regrets about what direction I went. And,
I do all the time.
well, when I look at my life now, it's not to say that I am not happy where I am right now. So I don't know. It's more like I don't believe anything in your life that you go through is a wasted experience. I think that it's all leading to something, and you're being prepared for something.
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
But I also think that if you don't have true regret, you haven't lived enough.
That's powerful. I've never heard that said that way.
Okay.
And I think that's exactly
The next
right.
time I hear a young person say, well, everything happens for a reason, I don't have regrets because everything happens. Because I used to say that. But then I did some shit.
Right.
Or I didn't do some shit.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to make that distinction. If you don't have regret in your life, like two things can be true at once. You can be very happy where you ended up, but you can also have serious regret because
it's hard. I'll be honest with you. I don't really talk about it. It's like we're having our own therapy. I don't really talk about that much. I don't know that I've told 5 people that
I've
story.
never heard you talk about that.
And that really still bothers me because
Wow.
I just think maybe
Which is crazy because you've done incredibly well.
right.
For
So
yourself.
I don't want to seem like I'm complaining. I don't want people to be like, well, that, it's just more of, I feel like that at least at the time I was like, that was my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Like I felt like I felt like I screwed myself out of my life's purpose. Now it could be wrong. I mean, I've had kids and maybe that was my purpose. You know what I mean? Like being a dad and doing what I've done. But I just feel like I missed out on one of my purposes in life.
That's crazy. And well, I'll go ahead and start with one that I
spent a lot of time on that one.
No, that's great because I mean, it kind of goes along with one of mine. I wasn't going to start with this, but I may as well. So I'm going to talk about The Office again. One of my favorite parts of the finale are the things that Pam says. Her character goes through a really great journey. Mm-hmm. One of the things she says at the end is she wishes that she could say to her younger self or someone watching, a young woman watching, be strong, trust yourself, love yourself, conquer your fears. Just go after what you want and act fast because life just isn't that long. And, I had an opportunity in college to study abroad for a semester in Ireland, and I didn't do it.
What? I didn't know that. What is your problem? What is your major malfunction?
One of the classes or programs I was in, someone brought it to my attention. I looked at the cost. I don't even think I asked mom and dad.
Oh, bro, I'd have been all over that.
Well, it's one of those things where, why didn't I? And one of the recurring themes on that thread, that Facebook thread, I saw people say, finish that credit, or take that trip, or start your business at 24, not 34.
Right.
It's about conquering your fear and how a lot of your decisions at that age, I guess because you feel like when you're just starting out on your own, there's that just fear of failure that kind of traps you.
Yeah. Like I've been trained all these years to be successful in something.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to
exactly.
fail right away.
You don't want to fail right out of the gate.
Now, I sit here and tell you should have went and done that. If I would have got the same opportunity, I probably would have been like, my buddy's got a party next Saturday. I can't go do that. You know what I mean? Like
Here's something that's interesting.
I'd have been that kid.
You said you felt like you had missed out on your life's purpose or one of the big ones. At least one of the big ones. I, in the same way, like another thing I didn't do, I didn't pursue law school. That was my...
I remember that.
That was my goal.
I remember that one.
I took the LSAT. I even moved to Louisville to set up residency, so I thought it would better my chances to get in. I did okay on the LSAT, but I didn't make it my first try. I took a teaching job on an emergency license to have some income while I waited until the next LSAT test. I wanted to get a higher score, apply again. I was just going to keep applying until I got in. But after that first year of teaching, I thought, it was miserable, so why did I stay? I don't know. But I stayed. And I
stayed a long time.
I stayed 17 years almost. I got better and better and better and better. And I wouldn't trade all the incredible experiences I had because, man, I taught theater, I taught media, I directed all kinds of productions. I was involved in so many wonderful things, taught English and speech and senior trip every year to DC with Dad as a co-sponsor of the class. So again, I don't regret those things, but at my age, I have a much fuller appreciation of my type of intelligence. I always, when you're younger, it's like, that you're book smart or you're street smart. But it wasn't until like my 40s that I really understood how my mind works. And I missed an incredible opportunity. I would have been one hell of an attorney.
Oh, I believe that.
Because I understand what my strengths are, and I can get from A to Z in a second.
That is a fact. Thought you would have been a good one.
Thank you. But it's like, I hate that it takes so long for you to gain that self-wisdom,
Mm-hmm.
like to know yourself enough to make better choices. Like, had I to do over again, I don't think I would have given up, because I think I belonged in law. I just think I have a legal mind. But anyway, moving on.
My turn?
Yeah.
Don't worry about what others think. There is no perfection. Other people's standards are theirs. Yours are yours. I put so much pressure on myself because how others would perceive things.
Yeah, I think a lot of us do that.
So
did that.
yeah, so I definitely would tell myself that. I always have that streak where I feel like I have to do everything the absolute most perfect way I can do it. And I was always, not as much now, but I was always so worried what people would think about what I did or what I said or where I went. You know what I mean? So it's like, or what choices I made. So I struggled with that as a kid. I say kid, younger self.
I know. Everyone in their 20s is a kid to me. I say kid.
I know, right? I mean, everybody in their early 30s.
A kid could mean 8, 18, 28.
I mean,
I don't know.
Anybody in their early 30s is a kid to me. But, so yeah, don't rely on other people's standards. Yours are your own,
I'm trying to really think, because I saw that one a lot too. And I know we all do it. And I can't pinpoint the time in my life when I stopped giving a shit. Like, there was a point, but I just
mine's
don't
only
know.
been recently. Like, it's taken me a while. That one's taken me a while.
Yeah.
So I just now feel comfortable enough to give that younger Joe that advice, because I just kind of came into that, I don't really care mentality.
Yeah, I think mine probably happened after my divorce, like during my 10 years as a single mom. I went to some really dark places, and I remember feeling so consumed with how to make my life a success and how to be a good mom and how to make her dreams come true, that I didn't have time to worry about what other people thought. You know, and I was like, that's when I think maybe that's when it started to fade for me.
I commend people that can feel that way younger.
Oh, yeah.
But I can't. I couldn't.
Right. Okay. I put for one of mine, say no, and remember that it's a complete sentence. I didn't learn to say no until maybe my 40s. No to things I didn't want to do. No to experiences I didn't want to have.
Right.
So, like, it took me a long time to learn, and teaching helped whip my ass into shape when it came to this, like, to be a better advocate for myself. Really on a personal level, like, not so much professionally. Like, I developed that skill really quickly because I was going to get eaten alive by these little teenagers. But personally, being a better advocate for myself, plenty of people in my life didn't give a shit about hurting my feelings. Why did I care so much about hurting other people's
Isn't that
feelings?
something?
And you know what? I'm not even talking about like close friends or family. I'm talking about like acquaintances or like coworkers.
But that says a lot about you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like and it covers a wide spectrum. Like just to not hurt someone's feelings, I threw myself around as if I didn't matter. Mm-hmm. When I really could have just said, no, get off of me. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something we need, and it's not, I would include sex into this, but it's not limited to that. I just mean even platonic interactions or just dating, casual dating, just, throwing yourself around like you don't matter just because you're hurting or you don't know how to say no. And I think a lot of the Me Too craze, for example, it seemed like every possible romantic interaction between a male and female got categorized as an assault.
Right.
When one of them, I won't name the comedian, but this girl that he went out with and they did things physically, and she basically just talked about how he ordered for her and she felt obligated to do certain things with him sexually, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not sexual assault, girl. That's a bad date.
Right.
And like, I feel compassion for young men, especially because it's got to be so damn confusing about what's allowed and what's not allowed. And if a girl does not say no, what other clues do they have? Like if she's pretending to be into it, because, I feel like we have a responsibility to teach our young men how to treat women, but also equally important to teach women how to advocate for themselves and say no and don't do things because you're afraid or you don't want to hurt them or make them mad. Or it's very bizarre, and I don't think enough women talk about it, but I bet you women my age listening know exactly what I'm talking about. So learning to say no in many different types of situations, and knowing that you don't owe anyone an explanation. And also while I'm at it, if someone's being a cunt to me, I say that they are a cunt to their cunt face. That's what I mean by
Please don't ever call me that.
Be a better advocate for yourself, Mary Beth.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Solid. Take care of yourself was one that I wanted to tell young Joe. I used to operate on very minimal sleep. And I didn't start making healthier choices and working out and all that stuff until I was maybe 20 or 21. So I just wish I kind of had that same discipline at 15 through 18.
Yeah.
You really don't care about sleep at that age. I mean, you just really don't. It's almost like at least my kids, it's almost like they purposely stayed up as long as they could just to prove a point. It's like, dude, just go to bed at 9. Like, it's not that.
You know what seems to be trending now?
Yeah.
Sleep.
Really?
That's all they do.
Okay, well.
Like, you come home from work, you sleep till 9 p.m., you get up, you stay up till 3, and then you get up for work early in the morning and act like a zombie and a monster and bully your mom and then leave. It's just like this cycle. Listen,
I'm telling you, it's
But even her friends, do the same thing.
Yeah.
Sleep all day.
Yeah, it
was not like that when we were young.
Well, it's so funny hearing my almost 20-year-old son who works third shift talk about, man, I need to sleep, so I got to pick, So he's like being conscious about when he's sleeping, and it's like, dude, 2 years ago I battled with you about why are you staying up till 3 a.m. just to do it.
Hey, a good steady job will do that to you.
Yeah, just to do it.
Yeah.
But even on the nutrition side, it was when we were growing up, it was eat your fruits and vegetables, and that was kind of it. And now there's so much.
We had the deceptive food pyramid, big scam.
We did. But now it's like there's almost too much science behind nutrition and what's good and what's not good. I mean, you'll hear if you've Googled enough, when I was in that big kick in 2018 when I got real, the fittest I've ever been. Ripped. And my goal was to be the best shape of my life by the time I was 40, and I did it.
Yes, you did.
It was hard as hell, but I Googled every day about different things, and so I felt like I was pretty educated on what. But when I got done with everything, I was like, that's almost too much. Like, there's just one website that's supposedly, world renowned said this thing, and then 5 minutes later I read something that said the complete opposite. And I'm like, how are people supposed to?
You know what? I think I'm going to put my tinfoil hat on because and maybe I've mentioned this before on the show. I once, I would all the time Google how to lose weight, women, middle age, menopause, weight loss.
Caloric deficit.
Yeah, like weight loss. And I'd look up diet plans on credible health websites. And I was so frustrated because it just didn't make sense that I would try it and I'm like, this is not working. You can't possibly eat this and blah, blah, blah. And then for fun, I decided to Google how to gain weight. Same diets.
You're kidding me.
Nope.
Yep. So there you go.
So that's when I decided the internet is the devil and you shouldn't trust anything but when it comes to health and especially diet, nutrition, one day it's greens, the next day it's, coffee, then it's red wine's okay, then it's
like no sugar,
no alcohol's okay. It's just, you can't keep up.
That was a big one for me because when I was going through that little health journey or whatever you want to call it, I'm telling you, when people say get your sleep and drink water, that shit is real.
It is.
Because I was drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day, and I always made sure I got at least 8 hours. And that's the best I have ever felt in my life. So there's a lot of truth to it.
Yeah.
It works.
Speaking of truth, my next one is listen to your mother. She's always right.
I always felt that.
I always felt that too. And it's not like I defied her.
I was going to say, I don't remember you fighting that.
No. Mom and I always got along, and I didn't really defy her or I don't remember scoffing at her advice. She always gave great advice. However, I would still do things that I knew she didn't approve of or that she didn't want me to do, but she never
just
gave
testing it or
no. It's just like she would, for example, talk to me about the person I was dating, had some concerns. She was right, but my heart led me.
there was conflict there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
So it's not like, there was not defiance or anything like that, but she always knew. She always knew.
The heart wants what the heart wants.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's tough.
just little things like that.
I get that. I understand that.
She's always right.
I agree.
So I think if I had listened to my mother, I could have avoided some heartache.
And she's really going to get a kick out of this part.
I know.
So I have 2 more. Okay. Oh, I shouldn't have said that first. Listen, coming from a guy with 3 college degrees.
Are you going to say don't go to college?
College education isn't the end-all, be-all.
It's not.
But that's all I knew. That's all I felt.
It's all we knew.
And I would have felt horrible if I didn't finish because I felt like I had to go. Our parents went. Our aunts and uncles went. So to me, life is pretty simple. I'm figuring this out now, and I'm telling Joe this. You find a passion. I don't care what it is. You learn how to make yourself the best at whatever that is, or one of the best. You become confident in your ability as it relates to whatever that passion is, and you can make a living. 1,000%. So don't be afraid to educate yourself in order to succeed. You can succeed through education of others, sure, but you absolutely can succeed because you educated yourself.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I've seen time and time again people that you would have never thought as a kid were going to do well, but they did well because they educated themselves. They were passionate about something. They were good at something, growing up that you maybe didn't realize, whether it was working on a car or whatever. Like, hey, my grandpa used to show me how to do this.
Local business owners.
Those people are so valuable to what we do.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like, how valuable am I? I mean, sure, I help with healthcare stuff, but I don't know. Sometimes I worry that, am I really doing enough? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah,
is what I'm doing valuable?
Oh, honey. When I got out of teaching and started the job I'm in now, almost 8 years ago, gosh, it'll be 8 years in January, I think. As glad as I was to get out of the profession, because it was killing me. I mean,
yeah,
teaching English is a bitch.
Slow death, killing us. Yeah.
I mean, I loved.
You were good at it. I mean, everybody knew that.
I think I was pretty good at it, and I loved the kids, and I enjoyed, that part of it, but it became so much more that was sucking the joy out of it. And where was I going with this?
I said something about, was I really providing enough value?
Okay. But I felt like I was contributing. I felt like what I did mattered.
Yeah, for sure.
In so many ways. And for the last several years, I love my lifestyle, but I often ask myself that same thing. I've lost that connection to.
Yeah, I don't really know what the best way to say it, but I feel like I was meant for more than what I'm doing.
I agree.
Now I'm doing I'm doing okay.
You're doing okay.
And I've been in my industry for 20 years. And I feel like I'm respected in it, I would think.
Yes.
But I just felt like I was meant for more. And I hate that feeling.
I know. I'm with you, brother. I didn't know that you felt that way. I feel that way too. And that's when I was talking about pursuing law. I feel like I've wasted my talent.
Yeah. So we're on the second chapter of our life. We'll figure it out. But
it ain't over.
Yeah, it ain't over. But I'm not saying I could have very well. Even if I told my younger self this and my younger self listened, there's a chance that I may have still went to college and finished. I mean, that could be the case. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying absolutely don't go, but my point was find what you feel like you're into, figure it out, learn it, be good at it, and see what you can do. I mean,
yeah. And I was going to say that the internet has opened up opportunities.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there are still way too many roadblocks. Like too many companies have to get on board with this. Companies have to get on board with on the job training.
Right. For sure.
Because the companies are responsible for keeping people in that college trap because they won't accept applicants without a degree. Yeah. And that's just nonsense. That's nonsense. Straight up nonsense. Like what I do required a degree. You do not need a degree.
Beth, my first job in my industry, I had a zero clue of what I was doing, but the job said bachelor's required. Dumb. I had zero. See, I had to be trained from day one.
That wall has to come crumbling down.
It has to come down.
But if it did, the universities and colleges would collapse. However, I'm not so sure that's a bad thing.
No, but listen, and it is good for some people. It absolutely is good for some people, but it's not the end all be all.
It's not.
And I would have never said that 10 years ago.
Right, I agree. Same. Okay, I've got two more. So here's one, and this is actually a quote by Maya Angelou that I've repeated to myself for years. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one.
Yeah, it's been.
That is a good one.
It's been one of my favorites for some time.
I really like that
one. I wish that I had heard that quote when I was 20.
Sure.
Because I'm a forgiving person, but I ignored red flags. Mm-hmm. And, this is friendships or relationships, whatever. Good grief. I wish that I had not given certain people so many chances. You write it off. I have long called this stupid girl disease. Trademark right there. That's mine. Stupid girl disease is when you are young and you keep really good men in the friend zone, and you're attracted. You get the zazazoo for the bad boys or the projects or the fixer-uppers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. I could do a whole show on it, but I'll just stop with that. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't give them second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and endless chances to show you they're a dickhead. All right, your last one.
Yeah, last one is, and I think kind of the Facebook group touched on it a tad too. It's not being okay is okay. Okay? Mm-hmm. I really struggled with this one. I felt like I had to give off this vibe that I was always well put together and I had everything going for me and nothing was ever wrong, and I couldn't show that everything was wrong. I couldn't show emotion in a negative way. How
do we share DNA?
I don't know.
I wear my heart on my sleeve.
I don't know. I have no idea.
If something's wrong, you know it.
Yeah. So I never, and this seems silly, but I never, even as a kid playing sports and stuff, you would never see me cry.
Yeah.
Ever. That was a sign of weakness. And even if I was feeling it, because I was at times as a kid, in sports and stuff, I would never let anybody see that. I just refused.
Yeah.
And there were kids my age that I played with that didn't care. They would just cry all over that damn field or that court or whatever. I was not that kid.
In our household, I was the only kid who cried.
Yeah. I broke my damn ankle and limped on it for 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, it was broken.
You and our sister didn't cry.
Yeah, I was like, I will not cry. You will not see me cry. So I spent all my life, even today somewhat, with just kind of not allowing myself to be vulnerable or just, to show that I'm not okay. And I've struggled with that.
I hope that you're past that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I am for the most part. I've had so many situations where maybe I was down or in a bad mood, and it's like I had this obligation to myself where I wouldn't want anyone to think anything was wrong. So instead, I would just try to figure out how to channel it, and so others didn't have a different view of who I was.
Joe, being vulnerable is how you make heart connections.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that now, but I refused to feel that before.
Yeah.
Even if it was the right thing, I just refused to.
Yeah.
But, sometimes like anyone else, I could have been struggling with something. I just didn't want anyone else to think I was struggling. I don't know why that was so important for me.
I know.
And that's all things. It's not just financial. That's not just health. That's not just mental. It was everything.
Well, can we be completely frank? Anytime something that involved the kids, if the kids did something or got in trouble or did, I would always get wind of it, but don't say anything they don't want anyone to know. And I never understood that.
Right.
Because I am not the type of person to hide my struggles, and I'll be like, well, Mallory got arrested. No,
yeah,
okay. My daughter's never gotten arrested.
No, yeah.
Knock on wood. But like, it didn't embarrass me. I've been an open book, and
yeah, and
maybe sometimes too much, but
I wasn't enough.
Right.
And I admit that. I mean, if my kids did something wrong, I didn't want the family to know about it, just because it kind of embarrasses you a little bit. And the kids are kids; they do stupid things like you did and I did. So anyway,
but I mean, that's just one piece of
right,
how you tried to keep very close to the chest what was going on in your inner world.
Yeah, I was really, really bad at that. I'm probably still a little bad at it, but I'm trying to be better at it.
Well, I hope that I am forcing some of that out of you.
You're helping. But yeah, I just, not being okay is okay.
Yes, you're right. Okay, my last one. Spend as much time with your grandparents as possible.
I would have never thought of that one, but that is a terrific way to end.
Man.
You have nailed it.
Now, I'm not going to cry.
You've nailed it, though, because they are so important, hopefully.
Side note, spend as much time with them as possible, preferably in their kitchens. I wish I would have learned to cook from Grandma, both of our grandmas. It hit me the other day, and sometimes it'll just out of nowhere, and I'll forget that certain people are gone. And it hit me the other day. I just stopped what I was doing, and I went, oh my God, I don't have grandparents anymore. Mm-hmm. There's something heart aching about that. Mm-hmm. We were lucky enough to spend so much time with both sides, both sets of grandparents when we were young.
And we had one set of great-grandparents that we were around, so we got to experience a lot of it.
Yeah, that's true. But, once you start driving and once you go to college and then you have
take it for
job,
granted.
Then you only see them at
birthdays,
holidays, and
school events.
And our sister was different. She had a closer relationship with our mom's mom, our maternal grandmother. And she did it right, man. She invested.
She did.
She truly invested. I mean, I think I had Grandma and Grandpa over for dinner once. It's just because I hardly made dinner, and you know what I'm saying? Like but Jen's the cook, and and so there's so much more I could have done to invest.
Oh, I'm way guilty for that. I could have easily, and I didn't cook, but I could have easily said, "Hey, we're having spaghetti tonight. Why don't you come over?" I never thought of that.
I'm not a reacher outer.
Yeah, and I feel like I am, and I never thought of that, not once. Yeah. I never thought of that as an adult.
I thought about it a lot, but I was always so busy. I felt like if I just had some help, because I was working full business hours as a teacher. Then I was producing plays, which took up my nights and weekends.
You had a lot going on.
And then I had Mallory. So
and I had the kids' sports, so I would see them there occasionally. Yeah. But just like spending quality time in the kitchen, I don't.
What I should have done, Mary Beth, you're 20. Friends and boyfriends they come second. Your grandparents are waiting for you to stop by.
Mm-hmm. We should have had the girls down here.
Oh, man. Well,
they're not here yet, but we should.
Fortunately, I know Mallory is very close to our mom.
That's awesome. Yeah.
But I'd give anything to be in our paternal grandparents. I don't want to say the last name, but I'd give anything to be in their living room.
Oh gosh.
To smell the bacon coming from the
you
kitchen,
think about
the big breakfast she
a
used
big
to
chunk
cook.
of our memories growing up were at each set of grandparents' house.
Exactly.
A lot of them. A lot of the laughs, a lot of the sad stuff, a lot of the fun stuff.
And all 4 of them came from such different
Oh gosh.
corners
Right.
and had such rich, varied experiences.
Their lives were like on different tracks to get to the same type of places, but they got there somehow in their own way.
The stories they
their stories
shared.
were so
and
interesting.
I didn't soak it up as an adult when I could have when I really would have appreciated it.
I agree.
And
we both share that one.
So that's the biggest one for me. I save that for last because I think about my grandparents every day, and what a waste. I spent my adulthood just trying to get by and not investing more time in them.
And I will spin it as a positive to end on a positive note.
Okay.
You just think about how lucky we are that we got to experience them at all.
Oh, we had great relationships with them.
Yeah, so we should be very blessed at the family that we had.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
sides.
it's not necessarily a bad thing for me at 46 to say it
Yeah.
was so great. I wish I had more
Yeah,
of it.
you can have a regret for that.
I wish I had more of
but
it.
if you reflect back on it, we were very lucky.
We were.
We were very lucky, both sides.
Good stuff. Okay, well, why don't we take a break?
Okay.
And when we come back, we're going to be joined by Mallory and Navy, our Gen Z kids. They're going to share some of their slang terms.
I'm scared.
I'm scared too. I actually hope I don't know any of them.
I need perfection. I need to be perfect.
You want to get them right?
Yeah.
I hope I get them all wrong because they're stupid.
That's right. I'm too competitive.
All right.
And we're back.
Yes, I just can't wait. We're going to translate Gen Z slanguage. That is slang plus language. And we have my daughter, Mallory, here. She has a list of 10?
A list of 10.
Okay, so
Yes.
these are terms or phrases that you and your friends use on the regular.
Correct. Every day.
Okay, and you're going to give it to us one at a time, and we're going to try to guess what it means.
Okay.
I already know this is going to sound super intelligent.
I am ready.
Okay, your first word is bet.
Oh, that's easy. That's like, for sure. Like, that's right. That's what bet is.
Now, okay, I happen to know what bet is because that is one of the few terms that I've actually had Mallory
Elaborate on.
explain
Yeah, or
before.
like if you're agreeing with something.
The problem I have is that it has nothing to do with, yeah, for sure, awesome, great. Like, why bet? Where did that come from?
It's like if Navy told me, hey, let's go to Olive Garden, I'm like, bet. I'm like, bet, that's awesome. Like, we're going to go to Olive Garden. I'm going to, yeah.
As in, like,
Are you betting that that's awesome?
right. Like, I bet we're going to do that. Right on, Navy, I bet.
It's not like you're gambling.
Yeah, there's no gamble taking place.
It's just like,
Are you betting that you'll have a good time?
what would you say to that? I think it's just like, can't wait, excited.
It's just an easy way to say, yeah, that'll be so much fun.
Okay, makes no sense. Moving on. Next one.
Well, it's almost like Navy says, "Hey, let's go to Olive Garden," and Mallory says, "I bet I'll go."
I bet I'll go with you.
That sounds so cool, guys. Keep going.
Hey, I bet that's what we're doing in the next few minutes.
Hey, Mary Beth, you want to do another one?
Bet.
Okay, go.
We are so insane.
I know. Knuckle
We
crack.
are so much cooler than Gen Z.
Yeah. Knuckle crack. Let's go.
Okay, your second one is pop off.
Pop off. Can you use it in a sentence, please?
Navy is really popping off in that outfit.
Can you give us the origin? No, I'm
Right.
joking.
Part of speech? No, okay.
Can I give you a second word that kind of resonates with pop off?
Well, don't give us any hints.
Yeah, don't give us a new
Okay.
word.
But the way you used it surprised me because I was first going to say popping off. Well, that's when you like go off on somebody, right?
Yeah. What was the sentence you used?
Navy is really popping off in that outfit.
Oh, so it's just got to be
So-
context. It's got to be
She's slamming.
right. She looks good in that outfit.
You are popping off, meaning your boobs are popping out of that shirt.
Wait a minute, we're talking about my daughter, damn it.
Your butt is popping and slamming.
Yeah, basically. I mean, they're like, because another one you can use is slay. Like, you're really slaying.
I get slay. I know slay.
Yeah, I get
Slay.
So it's either you're
slay
slaying
queen.
or popping off, but it's also like if somebody, like if I just watched you two argue and I'm on your side, I'm like, pop off, queen. Like, pop off.
Okay, so you're getting it. You're slaying.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily tied to how good you look. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Moving on.
All right. Beefing, or you have beef.
Oh, that's where the rappers, like, I've heard this one. That's where, like, the rappers have battles against each other.
That is a rap battle. Final answer.
Incorrect.
What? I've heard that before.
No, it was like me and Navy, like, we had a fallout, and we're just beefing. We have beef.
You have beef. Oh.
We're arguing.
Oh.
We're in an argument.
Right, of course. Like, hey, I got a beef with you, man. What? What'd I do? You really hurt my feelings the other day.
Yeah.
Why beef, though? Why not, like,
Steak.
brisket?
Pork.
It's a type of beef.
Okay.
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 I got beef with you.
Yeah. Next time-
Not pork.
Yeah.
Not chicken.
Next time I have a problem with Mary Beth, I'm going to say, listen, we got some serious brisket going on.
I know, man. Hey, I've never been so pepperoni at you before in my life.
Never been so canned ham at you.
Excuse me, is this Wagyu beef?
Are you ready for your next one?
Oh, more than ready.
I'm beefing. Pop it off.
Pop off. Mallory's slaying.
8.
Like
Could you spell it, please?
EIGH2?
Just 8.
ATE.
Oh.
ATE.
8.
Okay, and could you please use it in a sentence?
You ate.
What?
After that argument, you ate.
Oh, it's got to be like who won. Like you did the best.
Okay, I'm gonna guess you fixed yourself a plate of macaroni and cheese.
I got a sentence. Mallory, you're up at 8 today.
Okay, I'm gonna say you're 8 up.
No.
No? Okay, I'm gonna say you chewed them out. You chewed them up and spit it out.
So this one kind of resonates with
Okay.
popping off, but this one kind of is more to how you look.
Okay.
So like, but people also use it as you are eating or serving. So like
Serving.
that cardigan, you are serving.
Because remember when
You are eating in that cardigan.
When we grew up, it was like you got served. Remember that?
Yeah, but this is how you look. This is related to
This
style.
is how- this
so
is
it's
related to
even
how you
dumber.
Okay.
And again, the issue I have with this language is that it has little to nothing to do with the actual words that are being used. I mean, I guess maybe that's the object of slang. But if someone says, "Man, you are serving in that sweater," I'd be like, "Really? Should I go put something else on? I don't want to serve. I want to slay."
It's like that's basically what it means.
Like I'm serving the world my amazing sweater.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mary Beth, your eyeglass frame's 8 today.
Hey,
Is that,
pop off.
Did I use that right?
Pop off.
Did I
Yeah.
use that right?
Yeah.
I want to eat. Can we eat?
That's impressive.
I want to be 8,
Wait.
not 9.
Eat. What,
I wanna be 8.
Yeah. So when people say like because when I post like a good TikTok or something, people will comment 4 plus 4.
Okay.
And like 4 plus.
So
they'll
there's
be
like different variations of it.
Yeah.
Right, so it is
like-
sometimes the number.
Yeah. So sometimes they'll be like 4 plus 4, and I'll know they mean
8.
I ate.
It's kind of like when like somebody's name is like our friend that has a D for the first initial of his first name, a D, and it's like double D squared. It's like you have different.
Okay.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm gathering we still use slay queen.
Yeah. Slay queen.
Okay, because sometimes when I say that, I feel
It's a little old. It's a little
old.
expired, but
Okay.
What would you do if I made a T-shirt that just said Slay Queen and I just wore it around as a guy?
I would.
You'd be 8.
You'd be eating.
Maybe look there and goes, I love it.
You would
Yeah,
be eating.
You would be eating.
Hey,
You'd be
hey,
serving.
you know what? You wouldn't just be eating. You'd be binging. I'm gonna you should include that. I want to add that to Gen Z dictionary. I don't know.
Like binge eating, binging.
Yeah, I don't know the authorities that we need to notify, but I think binging needs to
It's
be
me.
part of that.
I'm the slang
Okay.
queen.
I'm gonna be like,
Hey.
oh, that shirt is gluttonous.
Girl, you are walking 7 deadly sins
Yeah.
right now.
Your next one, Cap.
This one's old.
Yeah, it's kind of old, so you might know it.
I do know that one just because I coach basketball.
All right, let me guess. Now, cap makes me think of caps lock. And when we do caps lock, everything's capitalized and we really want to emphasize it. So if I say cap,
I like your strategy.
then I'm going to say, well, I am, a linguist at heart.
Oh,
I did
yes.
teach English,
Yes, of course.
language, and composition. So I'm going to say cap. You say cap when someone just said something to you and you really agree. Like, you don't just agree, you super agree. Like cap.
And I have to back out of this because I coach high school basketball, so I hear it every day in practice.
All right, what?
It's
Am I
pretty
right?
much the opposite of that.
The
It's-
opposite?
yeah.
This gets dumber as we go.
It's cap means you're lying.
Yeah. So like
What?
If you hear somebody say
So-
no cap, that's like you're lying.
Yeah, or no. If they
It's like,
say
don't
no,
lie.
if they
Like,
say
don't
no
lie.
cap, it means like the
Don't
truth.
lie. Yeah, like don't.
So like if you told me like something I really agree with, I'd say no cap. So
like no lie.
yeah,
Oh.
like Chick-fil-A honey mustard is
Like-
the best. I'd be like no
Yeah.
cap.
Like our basketball players are like arguing over something. They're like, oh man, it's cap.
yeah.
All right, now where did this come from?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. I could not tell you.
So
Like, you've captured the truth better than anybody.
That's a good
no
one.
cap.
That's a good one.
So if you're on Elon's X platform
Yes.
and you see somebody tweet and they put an emoji of a hat, that's what they're doing.
You're kidding.
That's the cap.
No, yeah.
Oh my God, my head just
Or if
exploded.
they say no and then they put the cap emoji.
And my cap no longer fits.
Yeah.
Oh, cap.
I'm actually wearing a cap. No cap.
No cap.
No cap.
So no cap means truth. So like
Correct.
no cap is saying facts.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I was gonna put facts on here, but I was like,
Too
that's
easy.
too self-explanatory.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mid.
All right.
Mid.
Oh, you go. You try to guess
Uh,
first.
Well, middle.
It's short for something.
I think of middle,
Okay.
but I don't know the context of what I would use it.
Use it in a sentence, please.
Okay. Polynesian sauce is so mid.
Oh, okay. So that means it's average? Like kind of average?
I was gonna guess something around there because
It's short for mediocre.
Okay.
even though mediocre is spelled MED instead
Correct.
of MID.
Yeah.
Okay. Then why don't you say it's so med?
It's just not.
Because they might confuse that with medical. Mid. I like that.
I do like that one.
I might use that one.
You are so mid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say mid all the
Yeah,
time.
having Mallory on our podcast is so mid.
Oh.
Oh.
Cap.
Oh, Joe be popping off.
Look at me slay.
He's popping off.
Look at me slay.
Let them cook.
Let them.
Let them cook. It can't possibly be related to the act of cooking.
She goes, let them cook.
Hey, you know how like there's a strategy for like boiling, like when you're boiling a frog, it doesn't know because you gradually turn up the heat and that's how it eventually dies. Or like you have to boil a lobster alive, don't you, to prepare it?
So you think this was like just
So-
let them die?
So if you're going to say let them cook, it means let them stew in their own consequences of their awfulness.
That's what I would say. I picked that one.
Let
too.
them cook. Let them cook. I just gave him
Yeah.
It's
the
the
business. and
Let
he-
them go down slowly.
opposite.
Oh God.
Let them cook is if it's really hard trying to
the
find
opposite
examples.
of cooking
but
someone.
it's like if Navy was if Navy was trying to explain something and Joe kept interrupting, I'd be like, quiet, let her cook. Like let her brew something up. Let her
Oh, so like marinade.
yeah.
Okay.
So like when you let an idea marinate.
Yeah. I'm like if she's
Marinate.
having yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, marinate. Yeah, you got it right.
I'm not much of a whiz in the kitchen, so this one really threw me.
Right, right.
Let them cook.
Yeah.
Let her cook, man.
Yeah, it is marinate.
Yeah. Just let her cook.
Okay.
Okay.
Mallory, we're gonna let you cook.
Yeah.
Let me cook.
Okay. Next one.
Okay. Riz. This one's also short for something.
Is it okay if I know this one?
This is not fair.
I coach high school basketball again. I hear this
Okay.
stuff all the time.
Can I have the spelling,
Yeah,
please?
go ahead.
RIZZ.
If she
But
has-
that's not the way that you spell it in the full word.
Right. But listen.
Okay.
Hold on.
I gotta guess.
But if she guesses and it doesn't get it right, can I guess?
Yes.
Because I want to see if I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay. If something's Riz and it's not spelled like that in the full word, I'm going to guess it has something to do with one of my favorite expressions, razzle dazzle. So riz is when somebody does something that deserves jazz hands because it's so extra razzly dazzly. It's riz.
She used jazz hands 3 times, by the way. Okay.
All right, your turn, Joe.
Okay. Riz, Mary Beth, they're Gen Z, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Riz.
Are you? You are, right?
I am Gen
okay.
Z.
Okay. So in the Gen Z world, Riz is short for charisma. So
Yes.
I know that because
Charisma.
one of my players told me that.
Okay,
It's like
so-
another word for like you have game. So
Yeah.
like if you're really good at flirting, you got riz. You got
Riz.
game.
Okay, but you realize that that's not really what charisma is about. Like charisma is a lot
Hey,
more nuanced
I don't make the
than.
rules. I just play.
Well, my problem with this is that you're using riz for charisma too loosely and applying it to things that may not have anything to do.
It's not even like it's like confidence.
Okay.
It's like if someone, like they also use it in a phrase like "let shooters shoot," and like you're gonna make it or you're not. Like if you try to hit on me, you got riz, you got charisma, you got confidence.
Like, for example, I have Riz.
Okay. I know now Joe. No cap. Now wait a minute. Cap or no cap?
No cap is like you're telling the truth. Like no lie. Think of cap as lie.
Okay.
Right? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
God, I feel like a 7th grader who didn't study for a pop quiz.
Mary Beth,
Okay.
please let her cook.
Wait,
Let me cook.
I know. Okay, I get the Riz thing, but you are aware that confidence and charisma are not synonymous.
I don't think she's
Yeah.
like making the rules about this.
Yeah.
I think she's just explaining.
I know,
I'm
but
just
she's a
explaining,
representative.
I know.
I am.
And I agree.
I'm on the council. Let me cook.
On the council. Who appointed you to
That was
council?
good.
You can't even define what
Hey, she just ate.
She did.
I popped off.
Okay.
All right, your next one.
Okay.
Drip.
Oh, drip.
Use it in a sentence.
Joe's shoe game is drip.
Joe's shoe game is drip.
Wait a minute, are you being for real?
No cap.
Yes. My shoe game is drip. I didn't know that, but
Or you could
drip.
say, I would say, your shoe game is drippy.
Drippy.
Drippy. Okay.
So
Well-
I think it's all like context clues. It's like I think she's saying she likes my shoe game upstairs in my closet.
Your ginormous closet, that's probably the size
Okay,
of my bedroom.
so-
it just never ends.
Well, here's the thing. Joe, you have a large collection of shoes, but you also have a large collection of stylish shoes. So I'm not sure if drip refers to the style or
Well,
the
maybe-
vastness of your collection.
Maybe it's like the complete, well, all of it.
It's a style.
Style.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, it's drippy.
So, like, okay.
like,
Okay. And where do we get drippy for that?
I don't know. I just know that it's considered drippy if you have, it's mainly for shoes.
Okay, because
Like, people normally use it for shoes.
Okay, because dripping is a
It's
bad
a shoe
thing.
So it's like a
Like
shoe
when,
game.
when something drip, it's very annoying.
Yeah.
In some cultures, it can be used as a form of torture
And like
to get people.
and like post nasal drip sucks. Maybe it's that maybe it's that it's so hot. Like your shoe game is so hot that it's like on fire. It's melting. It's dripping.
It's dripping.
That's a good one.
That's a good way to
I'm just
put it.
guessing.
No, that's a good one. I
right.
don't know. I just,
Man, my shoe game's drippy. I love it.
all right. This last one's kind of old, but
Oh.
it's bussin' or bus.
Bussin' or bussin'.
I remember you saying this a lot,
Doesn't it have to do with eating?
and I still don't get it.
I said it all the time.
You said it all the time, and you explained to me what it meant, but that was a while
Didn't it
ago,
have
and
to
I
do
don't
with food or
remember.
something?
Huh?
It didn't have to do with food or something? Eating or bus?
I don't remember, but let's try to guess.
Okay.
Bussin'. That means something's wrong with my car, so today I be bussin'.
No.
You look confused. I mean, like, get on a bus.
Oh, okay. No.
That's what it should mean. Bussin'.
Bussin'.
Oh, does it mean you're busting out?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think of, like it's short for something.
It's not.
It's not.
No.
Bussin'.
Bussin'.
Like Bussin?
Yes.
Bussin'.
Apostrophe.
I feel like I've heard this, but I don't remember what it was tied to.
Did you use it in a
No,
sentence?
she hasn't.
Navy's tiramisu was bussin'.
I told you. I said food.
Yeah.
Do you only use it for food?
Yeah.
Mainly.
Like
So
if
this is-
like if food is good, it's so bus.
It's so
So
bus.
So incredibly bus.
I wonder where they came up with that.
Where do the connections?
Yeah,
How are they made with this generation's language?
I just work here. I don't know.
You're on the council. Bussin'. That is so bus. So how do you use it differently? Like, when do you use it as bus and when do you use it as bussin'?
Ooh,
Bus
good
is
question.
kind of just because you're so lazy, you don't want to say the full word.
That, you just depressed the fuck out of me. Okay.
Yeah. She didn't want to use 3 extra letters.
Is that not what it is? Like
one
it's
extra.
either
One extra syllable is going to crush your energy. That is Gen Z if I've ever heard it.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like your outfit could also be bus.
I've never used it that way.
I feel like I've
Have you used
heard
it?
people use it that way.
It might be. I use it for food.
And if Navy says that, it's got to be.
Oh, yes. She doesn't have her own mic, but she's sitting with us, Joe's daughter, Navy, who's just a year, 2 years.
2 years.
2 years. Lovely girl. So she's giving her input. I suppose she is on the council as well.
I'm on the council.
She's precious.
All right.
So precious.
So how'd we do? Did we pop off? Did we slay
I
queen?
feel like we got like 3.
Yeah, I feel
we
like-
got like 3.
I feel like I got none. And you know what? I'm kind of
Well, I
proud of
knew- I knew-
myself.
I knew
I'm
2 of them.
impressed with Joe because
Well,
yeah.
I'm like your dad. I coach basketball,
Yeah.
so I'm around 15 to 18-year-olds like every day.
Well, as an old person, I must say, I thought they were all stupid, so I'm proud to not know any of them.
Like one time, like the basketball players will talk to my dad like he knows what they mean. And one time he came home saying that all the basketball players came up to him and were like, "Jen has so much cake."
What does that mean?
It means you have a fat ass.
What?
They said that to him?
And they've said that to him, all of them. And he came home and he was like, "Babe, you got cake." And Jen knew what it meant because
She, like, slammed her door. She's like,
coaches.
"Don't ever talk
girls."
to me again.
And she was like, "Why? Like, why would you say that?
I-
Like, don't say that.
I got cake because I'm bussing.
Yeah.
Like, don't
Because it's your
say that."
birthday.
I got cake because I ate.
Yeah.
But it was just like all of the basketball players like talk to him like he knows what they mean.
So cake specifically means a big booty and nothing else. Like
Correct.
no
You got
other
cake.
party. You got cake.
But that's from like 2019. That's like
Oh, that-
old.
That's pre-COVID.
That's pre-COVID. That was
Yeah.
like Ice Age. I don't even.
I don't remember.
I don't remember
Little
that.
in the middle, but she's got much back. Dun, 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 dun. Little in the middle, but she's got much back.
It was amazing. He popped off.
Hey, okay. Well,
Navy's like, WTF is going on. That was fun.
that was fun. Thanks, Mallory and Navy, for joining us. Thanks for all the weird language that we heard today and
It's weird.
helping us understand next time we're no cap listening to somebody and don't understand.
Now, do you feel
You're welcome.
smarter or do you feel less smart?
I feel way dumber.
Okay.
I feel my brain cells leaking out
I
of
feel
my
like I'm a
ears.
little bit more plugged in, but I feel stupid still.
I somehow feel stupid as
That I
well.
don't know that as much as I do.
And you know what? As the time ticks by, I find myself wanting to say fewer syllables. So it's bus. Well, thank you so much for listening to another piece of the Gen X experience worth saving. Advice shared with our younger listeners comes from hard-earned wisdom, and it's now been immortalized in the annals of history. If you like what you heard, subscribe to the Best of Gen X wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. Joe, always a pleasure.
Duh.